So if you know that the best possible outcome is completely and solely the universe's job, then you can just let the fuck go. Because at the end of the day, the more you hold on to it and try to create the best possible outcome, the more resistance you're creating. So it's really important to just allow yourself to, number one, decide that you're a magnet for good shit. And it's a decision. Like, it is literally a decision that I've made within myself. And like, I tell myself these things. Like, I walk into places and I feel magnetic. Like, I feel like people are drawn in. And that's because I emanate an energy of, I think, just knowing and understanding the way the universe works in a way. It's just like owning it. Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the Quantum Coaching Certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hello, Badass Manifestors. I am so freaking excited, grateful beyond words that we have reached and are celebrating over 1 million downloads on the podcast. It's absolutely humbling, mind-blowing, and so exciting, and it's just the beginning. And so in order to celebrate, we want to re-release some of our top episodes, some of our most downloaded, loved, listened to episodes with some of the most incredible guest experts ever. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I'm so grateful. Thank you. Hi, Badass Manifester. How are you today? I am coming at you after an amazing weekend in New York City, and I'm going to share in today's episode all about how I felt like a real life magnet this weekend in New York City. And it was so guided, and all the examples that I want to share with you aren't just to, I want to obviously fill you in on my weekend, but they're really to demonstrate how you can magnetize yourself so you can actually make magic your everyday normal, because that's how it can feel. So I know you're going to enjoy today's episode, and like I do for all the new solo episodes, I am spotlighting a review from this Badass Manifester show. And if you have not left one yet, go ahead and do so, and you may be shouted out. And I love shouting out everyone who leaves reviews each time I do a solo episode, because I appreciate them more than you'll ever know. And so this week, I want to shout out 2 people that left awesome reviews on the show. The first one is subjected, Stumbled Upon You, 5 stars. And this is from Katie Did 6. Now, this is really crazy, okay? She wrote, was looking for something more, and your podcast seemed like it would be a great fit. Listening to your podcast from the beginning, and you start talking about Grace and Glory Yoga. I live near there and used to go there before my back surgery. What are the odds of randomly picking your podcast and have it be with someone I have a connection to already without even knowing it? What? Katie, that is freaking awesome. Thank you so much for leaving that review. And you guys, that is very much so in alignment with this episode, right? It's all connected. All the dots of your life actually do connect if you really see it that way. I mean, really, what are the odds that she picked a podcast where I was actually local to her? That's really wild and amazing, and I love it. And then another shout out to, drumroll please, Victoria Scalco. I think I said that right. Victoria Scalco. She subjected it the best, 5 stars. I love listening to this podcast. It always brings something new to start implementing into my life. Victoria, shout out to you. That literally means everything to me. The fact that you're able to implement from what you listen and what you hear in the show is the best feedback I could ever get. So thank you both so much for leaving beautiful reviews. You guys, I don't care if they're 1 sentence or 5 million sentences. I appreciate every single one. So if you have not can I speak today? If you have not yet left, there we go, a review, please do so. Pause the pod, give 5 stars, say a couple words, and then come back to this episode. I love you so much. Enjoy today's episode. Hi, badass manifestors. How are you this evening? It's Ashley Gordon here. I'm really excited to share this inspiration with you. This all came through this weekend. So this weekend, I was in New York City and I was on double maid of honor duty. So my cousin is getting married, my baby cousin, who I'm super close with, and my best friend is getting married a month apart. So maid of honor in 2 weddings at the same time. It's such an honor. I mean, I've been in 7 weddings, so it is such an honor. And anyway, this weekend I was in New York City, and so Saturday was my cousin's bridal shower, and Saturday night was my best friend's NYC bachelorette party. And I just want to share with you a little bit about my story of connecting the dots of alignment for this entire weekend, starting from even before the weekend began. And I think it's really powerful to share this story with you, not just like fill you in on my weekend, because obviously I can fill you in on my weekend, but I think it really illustrates how powerful it is when you decide that you're a magnet and then you actually are aware of it in the moment. And I want to teach you how to become a real life magnet for all of your desires. This weekend going to New York City, I knew that it was my cousin's shower, and her grandmother, weeks before even went, weeks before the shower even started, she reached out to me and she said to me, "Do you want to stay at the W the weekend of the shower?" And I was like, wait, what? Let me think about that. Yes. So she offered me a 2-night stay at the W on her points, which was such an amazing blessing in my life. I mean, I have a ton of friends that live in New York. I could have easily had a place to stay, but it turned out that she offered me all of her points for the weekend to stay at the W. So I was like, I appreciate that so much. And so it wasn't until Saturday night that I was like shaking my booty to some 80s music, and this quote came to me that I posted today on Instagram. And the quote was, "When you actually believe you're a magnet for all the good shit is when you become one," right? Because all the alignment that I was experiencing, I always ask myself, how can I teach this? How can I teach this? How can I take what I'm experiencing and teach this to other people so they can live this too? And so that quote came to me, and I had to reflect on every single thing that took place over the whole entire weekend, which was literal flow, energetic flow. And I didn't have to do anything to make it happen, right? It was just happening. So it started with the free room, like literally manifested myself a free room at the W. I didn't focus on that manifestation though, right? I didn't say in my journal, like, thank you, universe, for having me stay in New York for free. No, but I have a belief that everything is always working out for me for the highest good of all involved. I have a belief that I deserve the best of everything. I have a belief that I am worthy to receive all the abundance in the universe. And because I have those beliefs in place, that is why things like that pop up. So first, myth I want to bust is that there is no one way to manifest. There's no one way to get everything that you want. You don't have to write in your journal every minute of every day or every single day. You just have to know what you believe. And if you can shift your beliefs to work for you instead of against you, then that is a really powerful tool. So yes, manifested the free room. So I arrived to New York and I booked a blowout appointment for my aunt and I got to treat her to her blowout, which was super abundant and felt really good. And after we did the blowout, we went out to an amazing dinner that she then treated me and my cousin to, which was so epic and so abundant and so high vibe. And then after the dinner, Jen Casey texted me. If you guys don't know Jen Casey, go follow her at Hey Jen Casey. She's my boo. And she texted me and she's like, I'm actually in the city tonight, which I knew I was going to see her during the weekend, but I didn't realize it was going to happen so quickly. So then I'm like, okay, where are you? She was super close to where I was. So I go to meet up with Jen at this place called Public House. I've never been there before. And when I walked in, it happened to be a happy hour with free drinks. So it was open bar. That's the word. It was open bar. So I walk into this like awesome vibe. It was open bar. I see my friends, Jen and Diana, and we are having an amazing time. She's there with a bunch of theater people from New York. And I'm sitting at the bar and I recognize this guy. And I'm like, this man looks so familiar. Who is this guy? I feel like I know this guy. So turns out he, 10 years ago, was a DJ at a club that I worked at where I live. Okay. So I didn't know he worked here. I mean, we are friends on Facebook, but like don't really keep in touch. And turns out he's the DJ and he works at this place. So we reunited. It was like so wild that I ran into him and recognized him. And about 20 minutes later, he comes up to me and he's like, do you want a free bottle of vodka for your friends? And I was like, immediately I was like, oh my God, that's so freaking nice. And no, thank you. Don't want vodka. Don't need a bottle of vodka. But then I, asked Jen and all of her friends were there and they were drinking and partying. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not? So they set up this whole bottle service station for us. He brought out a bottle of vodka. It was so funny because it was actually Smirnoff. I was cracking up. I took a selfie with the Smirnoff bottle because I just thought it was hilarious. I didn't drink any of it, but they thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was just so cool because none of that was planned. I didn't know I was going to see Jen that night. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know I was going to run into anyone that I knew. But because of that, it just happened. And I feel like I got to be of service to all those people by showing up and then getting them a bottle of vodka. So it was just super aligned and super cool. And I felt really high vibe that just took my energy way up. I felt like it was such a blessing that happened. And it's seemingly small, but at the same time, if you think about the odds, what are the odds of going to a bar in New York City, knowing someone and getting a free bottle of vodka? I mean, unless you know a promoter or something, I don't know, the chances are pretty slim. But that's what I say is when you're in flow, there are no odds. There's just no odds. It's always going to seem magical when you're in flow. And that's just the way that it is. Another thing that happened was when I arrived at the W, I was thinking the whole way up, I can't wait to go to Sephora. I really need Sephora. I want to buy new makeup. I was all out of my makeup and skincare. Hashtag drunk elephant. So good for skincare. I love it. But I was just out of everything and I was like, I can't wait to go to Sephora. I had no idea where one was. Roll up to the W, Sephora is directly across the street. So I'm like, oh my God, this is epic. So after Friday night, Saturday morning, wake up, go to this really cute breakfast with my aunt. And then we go to Sephora. And my aunt used to be a makeup artist, so she was, helping me pick out a few things. And I said, the bridal shower is today at 12:30. Why don't we get our makeup done at Sephora? So she's like, okay, that's a great idea. So we asked the girl if we can get our makeup done at 11 a.m. And she's like, oh, I only have 1 p.m. And obviously we couldn't because that was when the shower was. And I was like, okay, well, no worries. Like, it's all good. And I let it go. And then she's like, well, we could actually take one of you at 11 a.m. So I said to my aunt, you go for it. It's your daughter's bridal shower. Like, just get it done. So she signed up to get her makeup done. I was picking out new foundation. And all of a sudden, literally 5 minutes later, the guy comes up to me and he says, we just had a cancellation for 11 a.m. You can totally get your makeup done. So I was like, looked at my aunt. She looked at me. We were like, what? That's crazy. Like, everything just happened effortlessly, right? So we got to get our makeup done. We got all new makeup. It was so awesome. And we went to the shower. And the shower was absolutely amazing. It was beautiful. It was just such an awesome experience for my cousin. And I was so happy that she had that experience. And then I went back to my room afterwards. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. I went to go see my best friend's baby. I was killing all the birds with all the stones. I was getting it all done there. I went to go see my best friend Nola's baby, Mila. She was so sweet, so precious. I got to see her, which was something I really wanted to do. Then I took a nap. Then I went out for the night for my best friend Sadie's bachelorette party. Okay? It was at this bar called Prohibition Bar. And I had these balloons made from a local place near me. And it was a big, huge balloon banner. If you saw my story, you probably saw it. It said hashtag Howell, because that's her last name, Shino, Howell Shino. And I was a little nervous that the bar wasn't going to let us hang stuff up, but they said that we could beforehand. I just don't think they realized how big these balloons were going to be and how much space they were going to take up. But I walked into the bar and they couldn't have been more accommodating. They couldn't have been more sweet. They couldn't have been more welcoming. They couldn't have wanted to help me more. And it was just such a sign to me that when you're in flow, everyone wants to do things for you. Everyone wants to help you. Everyone wants to support you. Everyone wants to connect with you. Like, it was just so, it's so hard to explain, but it was just so effortless. That's the best way to explain it, is when you're in flow, life feels effortless and it feels magical. And so walking into the bar, setting up the balloons, the waitress could not have been better. She did not make anybody wait for a drink. It was so quick. And when you're in New York City and you are like renting tables, we had a minimum that we had to hit. And we had, it was originally a smaller space, but the guy's like made room for us. He's like, this is your section. Like, this is where you should be. And it was just such a beautiful experience. Like, the manager of the bar kept coming up to us and was like, are you girls okay? Everything good? Like, he was just so accommodating. And my other best friend, Nola, who I planned it with, we kept looking at each other like, whoa, like, this is wild. It's like they are responding exactly the way that we need them to and would have wanted them to. So it was really cool to have that. And then I'm just having the most amazing time dancing to this 80s band. And I'm just noticing the way people are interacting with me. How the waitress was interacting with me, how the manager was interacting, how the other manager that kept coming up was interacting, how, like, even just the bouncer that was, like, you know, making sure people were able to move freely throughout the aisles was interacting and responding to me. And then how people respond when I was at lunch when I was at breakfast with my aunt that day, like how the people at Sephora were responding. And I was really having all these moments add up to that moment where I thought, like, wow, I am a literal magnet right now. Like, I felt like a magnet attracting really good shit. And it was effortless. And that's what I want. Like, the point is that when you're attracting really good shit, or when you're attracting anything, right? But when you're attracting really good shit, it should feel effortless. Manifestation is effortless. That's really what the moral of this story is that manifestation is effortless when you let go of all control. When you let go of how you think it should be, how you really truly want it to be, how you want to manipulate other things or people or control. Like any form of control creates resistance. And so when you are just allowing yourself to be in the present moment vortex, to be so awake and aware and feeling into how good this moment is right here, right now, everyday magic, like magic flows in. When you're intentional with just allowing things to be easy, like truly allowing it to be easy. There are so many things that you can stress out about. There's so many things that you can create anxiety over. But the truth of the matter is that, those things are going to come and go. I told my cousin this weekend, she was like nervous about her bridal shower because, it's a lot of family, it's a lot of different people meeting and interacting. And I said to her, just think about how you're going to feel when it's over, like the end result, an hour after it's done, how much love you're going to be filled up with how well it actually went. And it's true, like that moment is going to pass by anyway. That bridal shower is going to pass by anyway. So all the anxiety leading up to it is really useless. What is that putting in your vortex? What are you creating by feeling that way and thinking that way? And you're making things up that just aren't even true. So it's really powerful and important to kind of let your energy settle within yourself so you can attract the best possible outcome. And guess what? You don't always know what the best possible outcome is going to be. And you are not in charge of the best possible outcome. So if you know that the best possible outcome is completely and solely the universe's job, then you can just let the fuck go. Because at the end of the day, the more you hold on to it and try to create the best possible outcome, the more resistance you're creating. So it's really important to just allow yourself to, number one, decide that you're a magnet for good shit. And it's a decision. Like it is literally a decision that I've made within myself. And like I tell myself these things. Like I walk into places and I feel magnetic. Like I feel like people are drawn in. And that's because I emanate an energy of, I think, just knowing and understanding the way the universe works in a way. It's just like owning it, right? Like owning who you are. I think being a magnet has something to do with owning who you are and who you're not, right? Being so comfortable in your own skin and sharing that energy with the people around you, right? Sharing that energy of knowing and feeling comfortable and confident is not a form to feel, like not a way for you to feel better than anybody or worse than anybody, but a way for you to share that energy so other people can attune to that energy. So whenever you are emanating a frequency, and you always are, by the way, and like really becoming aware of what frequency you're emanating is really important to know what your point of attraction is. And you want to know your point of attraction to know what you're attracting. So if you are a magnet right now for things that you do not want, which is very possible, you don't have bad luck and there's nothing wrong with you. You're just focused on more of what's wrong than what's right. And all the energy that you spend focusing on what's not there or what is wrong is precious, precious energy that could be focused on deciding that you're a magnet. And Audrey commented, I am a magnet for anything that is for my highest good and alignment. Totally. Totally. It's so, so true. It's so, so true. And I share the story of my weekend and how everything kind of lined up because just to illustrate to you that I literally didn't write in my journal about the weekend. I didn't, meditate on what I wanted to have happen that weekend. All I did was just let go and I enjoyed the ride and I had fun. And I would say that's number 3 is like being a magnet is all about having fun. So it's number 1, deciding that you're a magnet. Number 2, owning who you are and emanating that energy to everyone that you meet. And number 3, have some fucking fun. Like, it is about time. Like, have some ridiculous fun. Because truly, the more fun I have, the more abundant I feel. The more money I make, the more impact I serve. And that is it. Like, if you're not having fun, then what are you doing? Really, what are you doing? If you're taking life so seriously, then you're probably attracting some serious shit, you know? So just think about it. Like, how you're interacting with life is how life is interacting with you. That's a good one. How you're interacting with life is how life is interacting with you. So how do you want to interact with life in general, right? Like this overarching energy of life, how do you want to interact with it? How do you want life to show up for you? And where do you need to shift in order to create more magic in your everyday life? So just decide right now that you're a magnet. Tell yourself you're a magnet. Start showing up as a magnet. Start telling other people you're a magnet. Start embodying the energy of what it would feel like to attract ease and flow and effortless abundance everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Notice how people will look at you differently. Notice how people will treat you differently. Notice how people will just say, did you get a haircut? Or did you get new glasses? Or something about you seems different. It's just your energy, boo. It's just your energy. And I'm so excited for you to take this on, embodying the truth of who you are, knowing that you are the creator. You are the source. You are the source. And there's nothing that you need to actually freaking do about it because it's just who you are. And that is all. Love you. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. Please go ahead right now and leave us a review. And what else do I want to say? I think that's all. That's all, folks. That's all. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fan. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at @ManifestWithAsh. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here. We be about it. Now go get 'em.